broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host Mike Day is in studio today and is the award-winning author and our human behavior expert. He's going to have some great talk time today because we got James Riddle that's going to be on the show. We got Gwen that's going to be on the show. So you're going to have lots of questions that you get to ask today, Mr. Gorday. Okay. Now, of course, we're live streaming on our show on 4 of the most popular platforms. We wish Blue Sky would get a streaming service because as soon as they do, we'll be on there. But we are on YouTube, Twitch.tv, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We're all friends from different backgrounds, but we bring the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Welcome to Tech Time Radio, where we explore this week's hottest tech buzz. Now, the Department of Justice makes headlines with a major move in the AI space and Google's Chrome browser. We're going to break into that as our main story of the day. Gwen Way returns with a can't-miss gadget and gear segment, while we dive into the groundbreaking brain chip trials in a SpaceX rocket mishap. Now, scientists are teasing a Jurassic-style comeback. HP shakes up its policies, and YouTube reveals a new subscription tier. Plus, of course, we have our guest, James Riddle, who joins the show, so he's going to be adding into more of the information on the medical technology side. In addition, we have our standard features and a possible Nathan Nugget, and of course, our pick of the day, whiskey tasting, to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. But now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right. Story number 1. Last Friday, the U.S. Department of Justice abandoned its proposal to mandate the Alphabet's Google divestment into artificial intelligence firms, including a competitor to OpenAI with Anthropic. Let's go to Karen Westland for more on this story.
Google will no longer be required to sell its investments in artificial intelligence startups like Anthropic as a remedy for its monopoly on internet search, according to a revised Department of Justice proposal. It now notes that forcing Google to sell its Anthropic stake could cause unintended consequences in the evolving AI space. The DOJ is still recommending that Google be forced to divest its Chrome browser, despite the company's entreaties to the new administration for a less aggressive stance. Have fun with all the whiskey on the show today. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right. The Department of Justice, along with 38 state attorney generals, is still pursuing, of course, the court order that would require Google to divest its Chrome browser and implement other strategies to address what the judges have deemed a monopoly in Google's enterprise. But a Google spokesman stated that the broad proposal goes far beyond the court's ruling and would negatively impact consumers, the economy, and, of course, the national security in the United States. Google holds a minority stake in Anthropic that is valued at over billions of dollars. Losing the investment could put a disadvantage to the company compared to OpenAI and its new partner, Microsoft, as noted by Anthropic in a February court statement. Now, prosecutors provided new evidence since their draft recommendations in November of last year, indicating that prohibiting Google from AI investments might lead to an unforeseen effect in the evolving AI sector. As mentioned in the final proposal on Friday, they also requested that Google notify the government about any future generative AI investments. Now, this significant case is among several U.S. antitrust lawsuits targeting big tech firms, Apple, Meta Platforms, and Amazon.com, are also accused of sustaining illegal monopolies within their market. Now, since the Trump election, Google has argued that the Department of Justice approach in this case could cripple its competitiveness in the AI space, therefore endangering America's global economy and technology leadership. So it's very interesting. Let's kind of talk about this a little bit, Mike. So we have Google that was told that they had to break up their Chrome browser. Now, all of a sudden, they're saying that they want to stay competitive in the AI world. Microsoft just invested millions of dollars into the going public stock of OpenAI and ChatGPT. Do you think that this reprieve for Google allowing them to stay competitive in the AI market is good for the U.S. economy, or what are you thinking on this?
If I were an economist, I'd probably have a good answer for that, but I'm not.
Okay. Well, and your feeling though?
My feeling on it is, well, we all know how I feel about AI, so I kind of like, who cares?
Who cares? Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see what Google does on this. Now, Anthropic.
I guess the biggest problem here is if they think that them losing their stake in Anthropic is going to jeopardize American internal security, that raises some questions in my brain about, okay, what are they doing that would, why jeopardize security?
That's the T2 Skynet stuff that they're worried about, if they don't have the market on that.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, because this is kind of the antitrust breakup like Microsoft had back in the early 90s type of deal.
It's evident, that we have several players in this space that have an overbalance of whatever market they're in.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And we're seeing this more and more as we have these other companies trying to come into these spaces, and they're not being allowed to do so. So
there you go. Now, I can't wait for your story number 2. We talked about this in our pre-show event. This is going to be something that you are really excited about. Okay. What do we got going on? Story number 2 here, Mike.
Okay. Did you know that HP,
yes, Hewlett Packard,
has a 15-minute wait time policy for people who call in for assistance?
Well, explain that to me. What it's 15-minute policy? What does that mean? They answer within 15 minutes?
That means that if you call HP or you try to contact HP and get a live person to help you out with, whatever, maybe your printer's not working or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to wait a mandatory period of 15 minutes before they will allow you to start talking to a real person.
Oh, my word.
Did you know that?
I only found out about it when we did the story, but I did not know that. You know what? That irritates me because, I have waited on call with companies like Ring Central and other company, and I'll just wait and wait. Yep.
I believe that this is a standard operating procedure.
Okay.
They do this so that the customer is forced to look other places, like their FAQ pages or their stupid chatbot things, which I don't know if you play that game. Like, for instance, I did this, what was it the other day? I was on something and I tried to get on their chatbot and it was like not working.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't find any alternative numbers to this. I mean, this is one of the biggest frustrating things. However, HP Inc. last week abruptly ditched its mandatory 15-minute wait time that it poses on customers dialing up a telephone-based support team due to initial feedback. I guess a lot of people, called HP and waited 15 minutes and then blessed them out for having them wait.
Okay. Yeah.
This came into force for folks phoning up to call center, but soon went down like a lead balloon internally at HP when some staff on the front line, unhappy that they were having to deal with a decision taken by management who didn't have to directly interact with customers, left hanging on the telephone for 15 minutes. Now HP has abandoned this policy, but it does not say if it might return again. HP started to play a recorded message to punters ringing up its call centers that warned of a longer wait time of 15 minutes and apologized for the inconvenience, which we all know this little message that comes in, right?
Yep.
We're sorry. We're experiencing more than usual traffic.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. HP decided to inconvenience customers deliberately to make them give up and use online support.
Okay.
And we talked about this. We talked about this at our production meeting. This is one of the ways that companies really manipulate the customer by using
what they're hoping
pain, pleasure.
Yeah, they're hoping that you leave. If your issue is not that urgent.
That's right. They don't want you to be on the phone. They want you to solve your problem by using and I don't know how you feel about looking at FAQs, but they never answer the question that I am.
So I try FAQ first, and then I try chatbot. So if I've now gone and I do actually sometimes chatbot first even, and I like the chat even though I know it may be an India person, but I like to initiate that way. I only call if I've already exhausted going to their website and searching for something, already taken their FAQ process. So having me wait another 15 minutes. And during the study, I did a little bit more research. Do you realize that 40% of people leave after 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So when you're on the phone call, they're hoping you drop off and that you're not that patient and you're just going to deal with it.
This is the effect of applying. This is technically painful.
Yeah.
And human beings don't like pain, so we avoid it. This is exactly the same thing that's being applied to streaming services where all the commercials we've talked about it.
Yep.
The commercials that we're
going to be talking, if we get to the Nathan Nugget, about YouTube has now a new premium standard that gets rid of almost all the ads.
For
$7.99.
YouTube,
but not all of them.
It doesn't matter. It's the worst because it's so irritating dealing with their interruptions.
Yep.
That it forces people to really consider paying the money to get rid of it.
It does.
And it's a cash grab.
Yes.
And I really think this is one of the things that people should really stand up against. But,
Okay.
Anyway, in a memo to staff, HP said the wait time for each customer is set to 15 minutes. Notice the expected wait time is mentioned only at the beginning of the call. It was absolutely intended to test people's patience. It was all about encouraging more digital adoption by nudging customers to go online. And this is, again, you see that word nudge?
Yeah.
This is the wrong way of using nudge psychology.
So why don't you just say, hey, if you're trying to get done quicker, we'll answer it as soon as possible. You can find these available online. Instead of just making it so you listen to music, why wouldn't you just advertise that in your call waiting thing?
Well, because why would you reveal that's the reason?
Well, I mean, because if you say that 2 or 3 times by minute 7 and I quit, I may actually then, if I hang up, go and take a look. Well, I don't.
It's all based on
Comcast actually does that. So
I know,
which is actually, and I've used it.
I cannot stand.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that as the older I get, the less time I want something wasted, and that's across the board.
Okay.
So if I have a problem with my Xfinity, and I am forced to call Xfinity, by the time I get to somebody, I am so angry that it becomes not about my problem with Xfinity. It becomes my problem about how Xfinity handles my problems, right?
Okay. Yep.
Anyway, TechTime Radio asked HP for further comment, but it's probably going to take more than 15 minutes.
For a response to Ching Ching. All right, story number 3. Get out your space umbrella as SpaceX rocket explodes. So let's talk about this. Have you ever thought about having an umbrella to protect you from space debris? Well, a SpaceX rocket exploded shortly after its launch from Texas last week, grounding flights and triggering warnings about falling space debris. Now, SpaceX confirmed the uncrewed ship had suffered a rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
Wow, that's a blow up. That's a euphemism that really puts it in perspective.
Suffered an explosion during its ascent into space and lost contact with the ground. The massive SpaceX Starship, the largest rocket ever created, spun out of control shortly after its launch. No injuries or damage have been reported, but images from the Caribbean Sea Islands nations show fiery debris raining from the sky.
The furry debris.
Furry debris, like furry debris. Okay, fiery. That was the that was the 8th mission.
That was who was on the thing with a bunch of furries.
That's right, to test the rocket, and consecutive failure. So they're 0 for 2 right now. What happens when you go 0 for 3? You just buy yourself a new rocket. All right, as always, success comes from what we learn. This is what they said. And today's flight will offer additional lessons to improve Starship's reliability, said a spokesperson at SpaceX. The statement says debris should have fallen within a pre-planned area, and the rocket did not contain any toxic material. So
that's BS.
So it's not toxic, and there's a
It's probably
pre-planned area.
biodegradable too, I'm sure.
That's right. So when do you get, for launching a rocket, when do you get a pre-planned area to just dispose of your waste? I mean, so you can, if it just blows up in a certain area, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can pretty much tell where things are going to fall if you know
the
how many times it's blown up before.
Okay. The company also included an email and phone number for those who believe they found any remnants of the craft. So I guess if I found something, I can contact them with an email, and they'll come on out with a bunch of FBI agents, and
they'll come out and get the stuff that's non-toxic.
That's right. Okay. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, we have our gadgets and gear gal Gwen Way on the show up next. And of course, we have our guest James Riddle back with an update on the journey to bring back the woolly mammoth. We're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. See you at the commercial break.
Looking for custom glass solutions for your next commercial project? Hartung Glass Industries is your trusted partner in custom glass fabrication. For over 100 years, Hartung has delivered proven manufacturing expertise, comprehensive product offerings, and dependable service and quality. From energy-efficient facades to custom shower doors, we create glass solutions tailored to your project needs. With 8 facilities across the U.S. and Canada, we combine national expertise with a local touch-ensuring faster service and unparalleled customer care. Hartung Glass Industries, where quality meets innovation. Visit hartungglass.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Wow. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And, of course, a little whiskey on the side. Wow, that whiskey is got a bite. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is back and tell us what we are drinking today.
Today you are drinking Smoke Eye Hill Barrel Proof. So it has a kick if it's the first whiskey of the day.
It is.
Now, from Smoke Eye Hill's website, straight from the barrel, 4-grain bourbon delivers unmatched aroma and taste in its most unadulterated form. It is crafted with a proprietary mash, resulting in a bold, full-flavored whiskey. Robust vanilla, caramelized brown sugar, honey nougat, rich tobacco, leather, and oak.
Yeah, it tastes like super sweet turpentine.
Boy, it's got a bite. So now you said that this is our first whiskey of the day. It's a bite. So how many whiskeys have you been drinking today? Is it not as big of a bite for Mr. Gregoire?
Well, no, it's my first whiskey of the day,
Okay.
But my palate's a little bit more accustomed to the higher proof bourbons.
Okay.
But it's still, I have to sip it very slowly the first few sips.
Okay.
Is this a high corn?
Well, let's talk about that,
All
Mike.
right.
This is a Hazelwood Spirits Company. It's distilled. It's actually distilled from MGP, but it's barreled in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It is straight bourbon, 5+ years. It's 134.2 proof.
Wow.
They have different batches.
Wow.
This particular batch is that
I think
proof.
this is one of the highest proof whiskeys we've had on.
It's
on the
pretty
show.
close. The highest we've ever had was 138 or 139. I believe.
Okay. Wow.
And then the mash bill, it's an unknown mash bill in terms of the percentages, Mike. So I can't answer that, but I can tell you what the 4 grains are in there.
Okay.
It's blue corn, yellow corn, rye, and malted barley.
Blue corn. Is there a different taste from blue corn?
Yes,
you
there
think?
is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
it goes for $90 a bottle.
All right. It's got a bite.
Now, don't forget to like and subscribe. In addition, please comment. Let us know if you have a whiskey you want us to review. Drink responsibly, because heaven can wait.
That's right. All right. Well, with our whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our feature segment. Today, we got Gwen Way joining the show. She's an expert in cybersecurity during the day and a game board geek. Wow, that is a lot of proof. Game board geek in the evenings, as well as a producer of TechTime Radio and our gadgets and gear gal. Let's get ready to bring her up on our Comcast video stream to start our next segment.
What's new in our gadgets and gear?
All right, Gwen, let me tell you. Woo-wee. Be careful driving with this whiskey.
Anything anything that gets that much of a reaction off the first sip, wow.
Well, it's
that's
160 proof, right? I mean,
No.
what
No,
does it
it's
say?
not. It's 134.
134.
Yeah.
Sorry, 134. Well, it could be. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
wow.
you're not buzzing yet, buddy.
I'm not buzzing yet. I will be by the end of the show.
Unless you were part.
Wait till we get to James. I'll be like, hey, how are you doing, James Riddle? Yeah, no, okay. All right, Gwen. We always love having you on the show. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself for any of our new listeners. Tell us what you do in your day job and what you're doing for us today.
Certainly. I've got about a quarter century of technical experience at this point and have dug into cybersecurity.
Okay.
It's fascinating, it's tough, and it's super important. So anybody out there who doesn't care about it, maybe you should start.
That's right. Absolutely. Cybersecurity. You know what? We need to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't know why we're not aggressive against Russia right now, but that was another whole segment. All right. So tell us, Gwen, you have a new gadget for us. What do you have for the listeners today?
Well, a couple months back, we did a translator app that you could get that would allow you to download translations and talk on the fly, on the go. I've got something like that also gives a little bit of added benefit.
Okay.
So this gadget is called the Monoise PG3 or PG2, excuse me.
Okay.
It's available on Kickstarter, and it's a combination of a headset, so earphones, that also connect to an app on your phone to allow for some translation.
Okay.
So it would translate directly into your ear.
All right. So it goes, oh, your cat's joining us on the show. Good.
Hey, she is.
Oh, yeah,
she is.
there you go. Okay. So it's called, it's MON, so OISE, so MO noise is what I kind of got it taken care of. So explain to us this translation aspect of it. So there are regular earbuds first off, right? So there are.
Correct.
Okay.
You can connect to your iPad. You can listen to movies on an airplane. Any of the normal things. What this does is it combines all of that functionality with an application on your phone that uses ChatGPT
Okay, we like
to
that.
translate and also record. So you can save conversations. You can write a document by reading it out loud. You can use ChatGPT in all the ways that you normally do, just through your ears.
All right. So I was over in Japan just a couple months back. And translation over there, thank goodness, they mostly know English. But there were a couple times when we went off the beaten path and in some of the smaller cities, and we would go to a restaurant. We really couldn't translate. So we had to type in information into Google Translate, and then we had to show them what it was. And then they would talk back, and then Translate didn't work very well. This has the opportunity to do what uniquely on translations?
This is actually really cool because you can split the headset. You can have one earpiece in your ear, you can hand it to somebody else, and then they're actually going to hear what you're saying in their language, and you'll hear what they're saying in your language.
In real time.
In real time.
So if I'm having a conversation with somebody, now I guess the only barrier is having to get that person to put the earpiece in their ear,
Convince them to put it in.
Yeah,
exactly.
so that would be the biggest part of.
That's a little gross.
That's what I know. I kind of think that too. A little barrier of entry right there is a here you go, put this in your ear after you just
kind of a litmus test. Yeah.
Don't ignore that little yellow wax buildup there. It's no big deal. Just put it into your ear. But let's say you pulled it out generically from the device. I think it would probably work really well, right? And you say, here you go, put one piece in, the other piece in, and then we just have a regular conversation in English, and it's translating it to them in the earpiece itself.
Correct. And I mean, they've got a deal where you can buy two of them, so you could keep one for, use just working with somebody else and use the other for the rest of your normal use.
Okay. Well, let's talk about pricing and let's talk about backers, right? So that's the next thing. So great technology. I would probably myself be interested in this, especially with that trip that we just did to Japan. This would have been nice, especially if you could have had some conversations on the trains and community transportation, which is phenomenal over there. You could kind of find out what's going on. So tell us what the prices is, where the backers are, where this is from. Hopefully it's a reliable. I've backed one of these projects still, and I'm still waiting to hear from them. So we'll see what happens. What do we got here?
Some of them. Well, it's definitely a United States based product. So you've got that in your pocket. They're sitting at just over 260 backers. We still have until March 27th. So if any of our listeners want to purchase this, they can go out and grab it. They're sitting at right around $26,000 earned of $2,000 requested. And to this point, you can still get one of the super early bird specials and pick up a pair of these for $99.
That's not bad for a headset, the $99 and on a price that you have there. So the next question, of course, comes that we ask you all the time. Is this something that you're looking to back yourself?
I may already have backed it.
Did you already back it? Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I did. This is something, my husband and I like to travel. This just makes sense as a way to do that and be able to understand what's happening around us.
All right, Mike, would you get a pair of these headsets if you're traveling?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Is the barrier of entry for you, would it be the sharing of the earpiece?
No, I just don't trust Chat GPT to translate everything that I'm saying.
That makes sense.
And,
we're
it's
getting
in its
close to a
infancy.
universal communicator from Star Trek. You know that?
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward.
I'm real sure.
I was all of a sudden you just put on a little pin and you're going to hear it in one way, and the
Yeah.
person
So what
hears the other.
happens? What happens when it can't understand local dialects? What happens then?
Well, it says it. How many languages does it say it support, Gwen? How many does it have?
Over 100.
Over 100.
Over 100 languages, but those are base languages. They're not dialectical.
You're right.
True.
So
true.
if I go
And-
into the interior of Japan, like Bohunk over here,
Or even Louisiana.
or even Louisiana,
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
From English to English, you may struggle.
you may end up using words that even the Chat GPT doesn't know. So it might spit out translations that are funny or not very funny.
Yeah. Well, at least it's using ChatGPT instead of DeepSeek, because if it was DeepSeek, you can
That's
have
true.
everything. All of a sudden, you'd have a communication, and in the thing, you'd be say China is the best out of whatever thing that
Yeah.
you did.
Well, this is actually one of the ways that I can get on board the AI train.
Okay.
Is with this type of stuff, but until it's tested enough to work well in all these situations, it's still a problem for me.
Now I'm just reviewing this. I guess I was dogging on DeepSeek, but I guess it also works on DeepSeek R1. Is that?
It can use.
Oh, so I guess if
DeepSeek,
you want to
yeah.
have the Chinese filtered AI stuff, you could put it in there too.
Well,
and
then
that
it's
way.
going to just run around saying, "I'm sorry, I don't have the ability to talk about that."
That's right. It's
Like, where's the
Just
bathroom?
start
I'm
asking
sorry.
about Chinese history. You'll be okay.
Yeah, where's the bathroom? I'm sorry, I don't know where
Gwen,
that
is there any talk? So you said it's an earbuds that comes with it. I don't understand why they wouldn't come with one companion over the ear speaker microphone
Yeah.
to hand out, which is a lot of people would be much easier to hand that to them. I'm not going to hand an earbud to a stranger.
Yeah.
Okay,
See that?
but you're
That's
not
fair.
thinking about the portability of it.
You can have these tiny little ones.
Yeah, you can
That's
do a
why
little Bluetooth.
you can get really handy alcohol wipes to hand out with it.
Exactly.
I don't want to waste my alcohol, Mike.
Oh, that's right.
Well, you're not supposed to be sucking
Well, you're
on
not
those,
using
buddy.
the whiskey.
That's right. All right. Well,
But that does bring up an option.
See,
Yeah.
you know what?
Go.
You know what?
ChatGPT didn't come up with that.
That's right. You know what? We need to come up with our own TechTime version of this, because I totally agree. I think the earbud part is the limit to having that to give to somebody. Even if I was coming out of the container and I say, here you go, put it on your ear, I'd be kind of But if you had in a way that you could put like one of the jaw.
What do you want? Like
induction.
sophomoric and childish ways of dealing with things?
No, they have those jaw speakers that you kind of just put on the outside and you can still hear it through your bone density. Now, if you had something like that where you could just kind of put it around, but I guess it's not portable. So I guess, you know what, we're trying to solve a circle.
I'm
with
excited.
that
But I'm like Mike. I'm a little hesitant now, but I'm really looking forward to these as they develop, because it's not just for personal use, for traveling, for vacation. This is a strong companies can use this too for businesses.
great for
We're
business,
actually
yeah.
having a
And you could watch foreign movies without the
subtitles.
Without the dub version.
Actually, you know what? That actually is worth it right there. I hate reading movies, so if I could actually listen to it.
Somehow I find it difficult to believe that you actually watch foreign movies.
Wow.
You know, most foreign movies you can go.
Have sold Nathan on it.
Yeah, most foreign movies you can go and they have a different English track that you can turn on.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, they could dub them.
Okay.
But businesses are we're looking into it at our business for our plant floors.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of different
Like Hispanic, Spanish.
Vietnamese. There's
Yep.
a lot of different eclectic people.
Okay.
And so
Eclectic people,
well,
or
not
many
really
different, not eclectic people. But
No,
you have
many
diversity.
different
You're
diversity.
very diversified. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
And not
That's why
everybody
we
speaks
needed
every
to
language.
understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Will it translate for ourselves? Let's see.
I don't think it translates stupid.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Gwen, where can people find out more information about you if they wanted to find you online? Where could they go?
You know, LinkedIn is going to always be the best place to track me down. Or if you want to and are interested in all of the hosts here at TechTime Radio, go to our Facebook page.
That's right. Or you can join even our Tech Timers Facebook group, right? And you're in charge of that. So if you want to talk with Gwen directly, you can just get on that and be ready to go. All right, Gwen, we thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you in a month.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
All right. Now that
Bye,
ends
Gwen.
our segment, Gadgets and Gear. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we're going to be doing so during the break. When we return, we have This Week in Technology. See you in a bit.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
If you like our show, if you really like us,
That's
we could
what-
use your support on patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm
like
the
us
English
in
guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English
Okay,
language
so it's
all the time.
It's Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you if you really like our show, you can subscribe to Patreon.com and help us out.
Oh, and you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on.
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook, too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Do you know what our Facebook page is?
Tech Time Radio.
At TechTime Radio.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's Tech Time Radio.
Or you can even Instagram with us.
And that's at Tech Time Radio.
That's at TechTime Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's Tech Time Radio.
It's at TechTime Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social
Like
media.
us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it?
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to March 15th, 1995. Kevin Metnick, the hacker, was arrested. Now, you have a little pin in front of you there, Odie. It says Free Kevin. You're going to understand what the story is about. So, computer hacker Kevin Metnick was arrested. At the time, he was the most wanted computer criminal in the United States. He then worked as a computer security consultant of Metnick Security Consulting, LLC, a computer security consultancy, which is also known to be part of a company called KnowBe4, a provider of integrated platform and security awareness training and simulated phishing tests. He sadly passed away on July 16th, 2023 from cancer. Now, the interesting point here, a little bit off the script that I have here, is there's many debate. There was a whole campaign when Kevin was in prison. It was called Free Kevin. And it was a bunch of people that were saying that computer hackers shouldn't be held to the same standard as some of the security processes were for enemy of the state and other aspects of hacking. Kevin Metnick is known as the godfather or the main person of hacking in the 80s and 90s. But my question for everybody that's listening today is the computer hacker that gets caught as good as the computer hacker that does not get caught? So that's been an ongoing conversation on the dark web and other places where Kevin Metnick is known as kind of the big name that was arrested and he was this great hacker. But if you get caught, does that mean you're as good as somebody else, or does it mean that you didn't completely have your tracks covered? So just think about that. That was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some tech time history with over 230 plus weekly broadcasts spanning over 4+ years of video, podcast, and blog information, you can always visit us at techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows. Specifically, you're going to want to go back and watch a show that James was on, because we're going to be talking about part 2 of that today. Now we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have our Mark Mumble Whiskey Review. See you after this.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Boom, 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 boom.
I have a bone to pick with you.
All right.
Last week's day, the grammar day. I got a lot of ribbon online for that. So let me just tell you, we're trying to be really positive now. So hopefully we're not doing an additional ribbon.
I'm positive that you don't grammar well.
That's right. Okay.
So March 11th, I am positive you have never celebrated this day.
Okay. What is this?
National Organize Your Home Office Day.
See, now we're going to bang on you somewhere else.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
Is it true? Look around.
Well, okay.
His whiskey thing looks pretty organized.
organized.
Yeah, but he didn't do that.
Oh, that's right.
That's
His
also
son
not
did
a
that.
home office thing.
And his wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Your wife organized the
wife and his son.
bar.
She probably did.
Yep.
She probably did.
She did.
Now, just so you know what this day is about, since you have no clue on it, Nathan.
Okay, wow.
This is a day to clean up the mess as accumulated in your home offices and to establish a productivity and healthy working environment at home. If you've been putting off organizing your files and clearing that tiny area where you work every day, now is the time to do it, Nathan.
That's a little wrong-sided there, buddy.
Thank you, Mike. You're defending me. I haven't had this happen in a while. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm on board with that because I have a disorganized area.
Okay.
If my area is too organized, it freaks me out. I have to have a disorganized area in order for me to work.
Sounds like you need some counseling, Mike.
No. No, that's not how it works, buddy.
All right. Tell us about the whiskey.
It's just a different way of organizing.
That's right.
Well, let me tell you about some people that are highly organized in
All right.
Arizona's legendary Smoke Hill area.
Okay.
During the era of American Prohibition, Smoke Eye Hill and its surrounding emerged as a secluded haven for bootleggers. Here they crafted and distilled their illicit spirits, attracting a clientele that extended to the glamour of Hollywood. Legend has it that a Prohibition agent with ties to the area would discreetly tip off the community about their arrival. In response, the moonshiners of Smoke Eye Hill and the surrounding areas hung bells on the necks of roaming mules as a way to warn of lawmen rounding the bend.
Oh, okay.
Now
so the mule would run and then the bell would go off?
Yeah, exactly. So when they heard the bell going off, they knew the law was close.
Okay, that's cool.
It's pretty organized.
Yeah.
Now, this bottle that we are drinking today has become known to the whiskey community when it came in first place at an award event. And that same event was George T. Stagg, a highly prized and allocated bottle from Buffalo Trace. Because of this, Smoke Eye has become known as the Stagg Killer. Let me tell you here and now, it is not.
Okay.
It doesn't even beat out Stagg Jr., which is now just called Stagg, which is the baby bottle to George T. Stagg. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a decent pour of whiskey. However, for the price, I should not be getting a hit of ethanol, or as Mike said, turpentine, and grain. I get a little grain, which I think comes from that blue corn.
Is that what the blue corn taste is? Because I haven't tasted that necessarily before very often.
Yeah,
so
it's also only 5 years roughly. It needs more time too to age out some of that grain. Okay. Now, when this bottle is done, that's it for me. Unless they come out with some higher aged, I would give it another try. But it's good. But for $90.
I've had way better for 50 and 49 and in other areas, but I don't know. I'm on the fence if it's a thumbs down. I think I'm probably going to trend a little bit down, but we'll see what happens.
Like that'd be tough for me. I don't know if I'd actually give it a thumbs down personally. I just know for the price, and I can usually pick up a regular Stagg for a little bit less.
Okay. Well, okay. Would you drink this on a porch in the middle of the summertime, Mr. Gourdet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. There you go. All right. Well, Whiskey and technology, a great pairing, just like James Riddle and our technology updates in the medical field. Now we're going to move on to our next segment.
Goodness,
You like
what
that?
a shill.
There you go. James has been a long-time contributor to the program. James is our special guest here to talk about what's going on in the medical research and innovation. He has spent the last 25 years working in clinical research fields and lends his expertise to our audience to help break down what's going on in the world of research. You can also follow him on LinkedIn. Let's start our next segment with James Riddle.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts, with our TechTime Radio expert, James Riddle.
All right, James, welcome to our show today.
Greetings, gentlemen.
All right.
Hi, James.
So let me just tell you, so did you hear that? We had an Arizona comment about the whiskey right as we lead into are you calling us from Arizona? Is that where you're calling in from us?
I happen to be here in the sunny desert Southwest.
Okay.
It has been very nice so far this spring. That's to be sure.
Well, we go from.
See, it's technically winter. See, that's what's nice about Arizona is that he gets to enjoy spring weather while we're enjoying not spring weather.
Yeah, we got two people here because Mike was from Arizona. You grew up there and raised there, so you still want to go back there?
I miss the Arizona winters.
Okay, there you go. All right, well let's move on here. Glad to have you back on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself for any new listeners that maybe join the program.
So I've been a longtime friend of the show, been around doing clinical and medical research activities for, better part of a quarter century, and appreciate being able to come on and talk about new and innovative stuff.
All right, so let's go story number one here. Scientists are breeding mice on their journey to bring back the mammoth. Now, we talked about this in our Jurassic Park segment with James on episode 70, airing in October 16th, 2021. So if you want to go and talk about the first part of this, go back and take a look on YouTube for episode 70. Now, James, explain to us what is going on with this mice in the journey to bring back the woolly mammoth.
Yeah, so definitely worth going back and listening to the prior episode. The folks at Colossal Lab and Biosciences, they've come a fair bit along in their quest to recreate and bring back the woolly mammoth.
Okay.
The basic premise of this is it's a little bit of Jurassic Park, a little bit of environmental recreation and the like. But in essence, what they're trying to do is they've got some woolly mammoth DNA that they found laying around on the tundra somewhere. I don't know exactly where they got it. But they've got enough of it that they think they can use genetic engineering to recreate the woolly mammoth, bring it back, put it out on the plains, let it roam around, maybe give us some woolly mammoth burgers or something. I don't know.
There you go. All right. So how do mice factor into this? Well, it was very interesting to see what does mice have anything to do with a pretty small rodent versus a large mammal? What do we have going on here?
Yeah, so genes are complicated, and it does take a little bit of trial and error to tinker around with the woolly mammoth DNA to see if you're going to be able to create a viable live organism. And much like most medical research that starts off from the lab, and then before it gets to humans, there's some animal testing. Usually it's from lab mice. And so what the folks at Colossal have done here, they've taken their genetically engineered woolly mammoth embryos, and they have figured out a way to gene transfer that into a mouse. And what they're trying to perfect is what happens when we get into a larger scale animal. So the result is a cute little fuzzy, furry-looking mouse that you can put out and make good story out on the interweb. Which is what we picked up on for purposes of this particular segment.
All right, so mice are used in lots of testing. Did they put a DNA sequence inside the mice? How do they make them be so furry and a part of this process?
Yeah, so they've spliced some of the woolly mammoth genes into the mouse, and so the mouse is, I guess you would call it a woolly mouth.
Okay, there you go.
Turn into a tribble.
It's gonna be like Alien.
Tribble.
It's
There
gonna
you go.
like pop out a little tiny mammoth.
We're gonna start selling those down at the local pet store. It's like a mouse with a. Okay, never mind. All right.
Yeah, you probably aren't going to see those at your local pet store anytime soon.
Okay.
The folks who are responsible in doing gene editing and creating transgenic strains of animals, they tend to keep those out of the population, so you don't get little Stuart Littles driving all around.
That's what I was exactly thinking about. All right. Our second item here. Fake studies are slowing life-saving medical research. All right. So there's fraudsters that are getting rich, and it looks like crooks are not just stealing your information through phishing attempts, but they're now actually penetrating the medical field. James, tell me a little bit about what this article talks about regarding fake papers and what's going on in the industry here.
Yeah. So if you've been around in the clinical research or medical research, even just research in general, the way that you advance your career is you get published, right? Some people will hear the term publish or perish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't publish, there's a tendency to indeed perish your career and you find yourself doing something else. If your research doesn't work quite right.
Wow.
Ooh, ouch.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been going on is that as there's been more and more pressure to develop new and innovative things, and the pace of research is accelerating, not surprisingly, some people are fudging their results. And the detection mechanism for being able to get into a published journal is that you get the journal editors reviewing your paper, and they're supposed to be able to detect fraud or maybe fabricated information. Well, it's hard to detect, and there's enough of it out there that it does impede future research. And so it also has the added implication. I know how much you all love ChatGPT. Well, if you go out to ChatGPT, guess what it learns on? It learns on that scientific literature.
And if it's fake, then it's
that's one of my biggest problems with ChatGPT.
Yeah. So it's okay.
So you go out to these generative AI models that have learned off of the scientific literature what to say about the current state of affairs on some scientific question, and you get also this garbage that is out there.
So
there is in garbage begets garbage, because then, of course, if you want to create a new study, you go to ChatGPT or Gemini and you ask it, what's the scientific literature say about the current state of this and that? And then you start to recreate the project for something that wasn't even right in the first place. So it is a problem. It's not unique to the research universe, but it does tend to creep in when you get into this publish or perish model.
So are these papers penetrating the established and qualified journals and research nets, or is this the thing where they're actually publishing through a backdoor publisher and looking like a peer-reviewed system?
Yeah. So yes to both.
Okay. Well, good.
You're more likely to be able to put questionable science into journals that don't have a solid peer review. But if you go and look at the retraction history that's in the news article, it's tens of thousands of papers being retracted from reputable journals.
Wow.
Now, it's a small fraction of the millions of papers that get published each year, but still, it's enough that it's a problem.
James, what's the end game on that for them?
Money.
You mean as far as the end game for faking your data is the same as cheating on anything else, right? You get done faster. You don't have to put in the effort. You don't have to perhaps publish results that don't prove your hypothesis.
So it's more researchers and scientists taking shortcuts, trying to promote themselves versus something malicious.
It's a degradation of the scientific method.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pervasive enough to get mentioned in the news. It's been a problem forever, but it's exacerbated by the AI learning models, where the learning models are learning from things that they don't know aren't right.
And see, I guess that's a huge problem.
A discerning scientist might be able to detect that a particular paper had something that might be questionable.
Because as you create a large language model for ChatGPT, and then all of a sudden you have China with DeepSeek go and steal that information. If they don't, because they don't go back to the most current large language model, they go to the one that they published with the information. So if they don't go back to the newest information, and you have that language model with all those fake papers, now you may have something that will be completely false that is proven in 1 or 2 or 3 different versions of AI systems that are out there.
Yeah, but this is also compounded by the brutal dark side of research science.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, see, James, that we're gonna have to be drinking even more after that. All right. The last question that I have here. The UK plans for human trials on the world's most advanced brain chip for anxiety and depression. What is this chip going to do, and what's going on with this? This is exciting. I've been watching Severance season 2, so tell me a little bit about what we got going on here.
Yeah, so if you're a Severance fan, this will resonate.
Okay.
So if you after the down article we talked about with the fake papers, this one's actually super cool.
Okay.
And so the folks at Forest Neurotech have devised a new type of brain implant that uses targeted ultrasound to change your behavior and your mood. And it's being researched over in the UK right now with the National Health Service. And unlike most of the other neuro implants, so you've heard of Neuralink from Elon Musk and all that, this one doesn't have to penetrate into your brain matter in order to work. It sits inside the skull, and it uses a brain-computer interface. And what it does is it uses targeted ultrasound in various parts of your brain to change your mood and your behavior. It's a less invasive way to impact people's health. Rather than drugs or surgeries or implantable brain implants. If you've ever been to the Seattle Science Center,
okay, yeah,
I suspect that many of the listeners in the Seattle area have. They have this game there where you put on a cap, and then the person on the other side of the table puts on a cap, and you basically think the ball across to the other side of the table. That's using this basic technology, although the folks at Forest Neurotech have figured out how to make it really small and much more accurate, and put it inside, underneath the skull, but not in your brain matter. Super cool.
All right. Well, great.
That's a huge leap in technology over Musk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it would be, because if you don't have to go in and start attaching stuff to the skull itself and you just put it underneath, that would be perfect.
Or crash rockets.
All right, James, we're out of time. Tell us how people can get in touch with you offline after the show. And we got to have you back because we have one subject that we didn't get to talk about that I think would make great for our next time. All right, how can people contact with you?
Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Just go look me up there. That's where I do all of my social media such.
Okay. All right. James, thanks for being a part of the show. If you want to go back and hear all about the woolly mammoth, you can go to episode 70, aired on October 16th, 2021, and find out what we got going on for there. We thank James so much.
Yeah, he's one of my all-time favorite guests you have.
We like James. James is fantastic. So, all right. Well, now we're going to move right now into our last commercial break. When we come on back, we have our Nathan Nugget. We'll see you after this.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, Collected Writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right. YouTube is expanding its pilot program for its new Premium Light subscription in the United States. The company announced last week that the prices for a $7.99 per month plan instead of the $13.99 will allow you to skip most videos without ads, including gaming, fashion, beauty, news, and more. But if you're listening to music, it will not be ad-free. Are you interested in spending a little less at $7.99 per month to skip through commercials on YouTube? Mike?
Bad YouTube.
All right. Mr. Greg, why would you do that?
No.
All right. Neither would I. So best of luck for your guys' non-premium ad music, whatever you're trying to do. All right. Let's now move on to our pick of the day whiskey tasting.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
What we are sipping on today is Smoke Eye Hill Barrel Proof. It is a straight bourbon, 5+ years. This batch is 134.2 proof. It's a mash bill of 4 grains, with one of them being blue corn, and it is $90.
All right. And we think the blue corn adds to that little kind of turpentine taste.
Not the turpentine, more of the grainy.
The grainy sweet taste.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Wow.
You know what? The price point, if I throw in the price point in there, I just think there's a whole lot better that I've tasted. And I don't know if I would, I would have a $50 bottle of something I enjoy versus a $90 bottle of something I wouldn't. So I'm saying thumbs down. What are you going to go with, Mr. Gorday?
I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
I agree with both of you. So without the price, it'd probably be a thumbs up for me.
Okay.
But with the price, it goes thumbs down.
It goes thumbs down. All right. Well, there you go. Well, we appreciate all of our listeners that joined our program today. We had both our guests, James Riddle and Gwen Way, joining the show. So it should be great segments for everybody to talk about. Mike, we're about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we want to hear from you. So visit us at techtimeradio.com. Click on the Be a Caller and ask a question on technology in our TalkBack recording system. We wanted you to remember that the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, mum's the word.